And welcome to the Raw Preview. We are the Dudley Boys of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also Friday Night SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to look ahead to Raw tonight and the go-home show ahead of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, if you didn't know already that we were entering end of days era for the Fed boom, this episode is confirmation because I'm sat here on a Monday morning and I'm excited about matches. Like on a WWE TV show, it's increasingly getting to the point where like the thing I'm clinging on to is matches. And when you've had a WWE boom, that's been the least of your concerns. That'll be fine on the night, whatever.
Not this year, but
prior to this, yeah, like the matches will come, and there's often, the quality bar has risen. I'm being facetious there, but at the moment, maybe it's worse on a Monday because I'm always thinking, I've still got to talk about SmackDown. God. But like, Raw has been the show that I'm still broadly enjoying.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. Morale's feeling low, guys. Come on, gang. We need to lift our spirits. And these matches just gave me that little shot of adrenaline. Like, I'm still pretty excited for it.
If your morale's low, it's always good to have like someone who's like funny in this environment and here's what's happened. Look, here's what I expect.
Another gift to be wrapped for All Elite Wrestling, I am sure.
Here's what to expect. Okay. Spoiler alert. The matches that you dread as a wrestling fan will be very well received. And as a consequence of that, on the whole, Raw will be quite well received. I'm quite sure of that. Thus ending the discourse of the soul of WWE just got laid to rest on Sunday. Are we taking the piss here? Are we taking the piss? Can I talk about R-Truth?
Yeah, I was going to mention it in relation to the Judgment Day as a way to talk about it, but yeah, you've got into it, so absolutely.
Yeah, so that'll all be forgotten about when Raw does a 7.5 out of 10 critical acclaim rating where, it wasn't amazing, stories aren't as hot, cinema is shuttered, but the match is really good and people will care about that and everything will go on. How many times does this company have to have no soul to be reminded for people to realize, it's not a nice place? You could describe it at the very least as an evil empire. It just boggles my mind how
the people saying like TKO of
the
2-year-olds that are apparently given access to extra posts. It's good typing for a 2-year-old.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. TKO, God, the soul of WWE's dying. But this TKO lot, I'll be taking the piss. Like if you look at like the financial incentives, the schedule, in many ways, compared to years gone, eras gone, decades gone, it's positively a utopia. Everything TKO do that draws the ire of wrestling fans has been done before TKO were even there. They've, if anything else, like they pay wrestlers more. Yes, the competition in the marketplace is a huge factor in that. And yes, it's always bottom line, and they don't see the financial value in running house shows. So it's not like, that'll bite them in the arse when you look at some of the state of the wrestlers on NXT. But even if it's a, unintended byproduct of how to save dollars and cents, it's still a better schedule. So that just really wound me up. So I thought I'd have a little miniature rant. Not getting LaGreca about it. So it just kind of baffles me, the reaction. And here's something else. Isn't this the way it's meant to be done?
Yes.
Isn't this the way that AEW, more often than not, yes, there are examples, gotchas, but more often than not, the AEW philosophy, and yes, WWE have, actually cut people early from the deals on these horrible one-sided affairs. But in the specific case of R-Truth and Carlito, isn't this how business is meant to be done? Isn't this what AEW rightfully get praised for doing, where they sign a talent to a fixed-term deal, 3-5 years, whatever. That expires. and then they say, right, okay, well, the business has been conducted, but don't want to do this anymore. But we've paid you what you're owed. I don't understand the specific backlash about this when, for once in the godforsaken trajectory of the evil empire, they actually conduct business the right way. I just yesterday on social media just completely baffled me. Yes, this is coming from a place of I don't particularly get R-Truth's brand of comedy, to put that mildly. But the evil TKO, they did it nicer than fucking Vince ever did. Realistically, 9 times out of 10. R-Truth is a multi-millionaire Vince McMahon apologist. I'm sure he'll be just fine. And I'll tell you one thing as well. Look, not my brand of comedy. And by the way, if you're going to miss the levity brought to you by R-Truth on WWE programming, may I suggest a sitcom? Do you know what I mean? May I suggest...
People also like sitcom.
People, like, there's it's like, you know, you can watch...
Finish the SmackDown on Netflix. You may also enjoy cinema. all films.
Every sitcom ever created, yeah.
It's just, he's been there for decades. Essentially, you could describe him as this like pan-generational mascot figurehead type.
Yeah, the wave of sentiment is not a surprise.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it's completely like people just going for numbers. Like
disingenuous,
I don't get it. Like Pretty Ricky, I think, is one of the most cringeworthy things ever committed to the idea, the aspiration of comedy. Not for me. But the guy's a multimillionaire, WWF champ. Now, the guy's a multimillionaire. He's 53 years old. And here's something, right? Do I sympathize with him to a degree? R-Truth. They told a disastrous story with John Cena that when you can go back on the SmackDown review that me and you recorded when he wasn't here, Hamflett, pronoun boy. And as soon as I saw R-Truth was interact with Jimmy Uso, and R-Truth was basically saying, oh, no, I can still get it through to John. I thought, oh, you might have done something here. You might have developed a plot surrounding this John Cena character rather than just this really terrible premise.
Who's he affecting? Who are his actions impacting?
Yeah.
They found somebody.
R-Truth. What are the incidents? He just talks to people and like doing this like sort of edgy work shooting nonsense in these promo volleys. I thought, R-Truth, I said it, like they could build towards this very dramatic, red hot TV match between John Cena and R-Truth after R-Truth is sort of unwittingly manipulated by John Cena, unwittingly goes along with it, seeing the best in his hero, cheating in his matches until finally snaps. You know what? Not doing this anymore. Major heat angle, match, near fall for the ages, and then the business is done. They didn't do that. And I thought that they rushed a terrible story to the detriment of R-Truth. Maybe this has been in the works for a long time. They look at the spreadsheet, look at who's... Right, he's out of contract, 19 days from yesterday or whatever. Right, he can go. Because it is just that ruthless, okay? But welcome to the Fed. As Hamflett so eloquently says, what are you, 2 years old? They instead rushed through every single story beat to, quite frankly, a farce of a match and a disastrous idea. No, good idea, disastrous execution. When R-Truth cut that promo live on SmackDown, which I did watch, he got what chanted into oblivion. Like, what? Maybe they looked at that and thought, all right, okay, well, I don't like him anymore. Bang, off you go, which is kind of harsh because he was very effective. This is a guy who once popped me, and I do not rate him at all.
I mentioned this on the news.
I did not rate the R-Truth character whatsoever. He's always had the capacity to make someone laugh. Apparently, everyone loved him. I saw the outpouring of support, and I just believe that people think he's funny when he's not on TV. Okay? I just think, welcome to the Fed. How many times do we have to do the same song and dance? Like, how many times? It's literally one of the nicest things they've done in years was allow this guy to earn the money per the terms of his deal.
I was not surprised at the praise, but I thought it went a little bit under discussed. Maybe it's because it was too soon and too raw, and we're just having this like it's a reaction culture now. And over the days and weeks and whatever, there'll be a bit more pragmatic discussion and debate over pros and cons of everything. I was surprised because I'd seen it with my own eyes. The amount of grief both WWE and John Cena and R-Truth got for all of their respective involvements in that program, when I was broadly in favour of it. I was in favour of I didn't like the angle in the press conference, and then it's just like, because they're just being tight with Cena's dates. So that's why they've done that there. They've pissed away a good heat angle to do in front of a live crowd. But, it's Saturday night's main event. That's only in 2 weeks. Yeah, this is probably, it exists to set up something else, and you want to get this, you want to pay off this little story that R-Truth especially has put a lot of time into. People care about, people buy it. You get the daft merchandise, you get the one-off. It's kind of like my little bit of easy to digest, shortcut fed stuff. Match was garbage. I'm not defending the match.
Please don't.
In that sort of 2 week window, I didn't see anybody else. I did. I saw one person, Adam Wilbourn. Like when we were talking about on these podcasts, I didn't see anybody else saying anything nice about this. And then, to your point about that, the promo that he cut,
they couldn't take him seriously in that role, which I thought was it harsh on him?
I think so. But then I did, but nobody else did. And this is and I think you can accept the reality of his release / contract coming to an end and not being renewed, whatever it really is. And then I was sort of surprised as a result. It was like, yeah, but wait a second. What is it you're really mourning here? Like the loss of, because I actually have a lot more sympathy with the wrestlers here than fans.
I do as well.
I think there's some quite incredible posts from people that in some cases have worked with him for going on 20 years. And we've all had that happen in our jobs. And it's really sad and it's really affecting. And your day is different and worse when somebody that means a lot to
you view the company differently when this sort of thing happens.
Yeah, and
then everything goes.
Even Road Dogg posted about it
and then deleted it. Yeah, things move.
Did he?
Allegedly, anyway.
Well, again, welcome to Road Dogg.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I didn't see this.
Really, really heartfelt posts from people just talking about no longer working with somebody they love working with who makes their day better. And we touched on this, wrestling is such an unavoidable and impenetrable cycle. And this news happening now amidst WWE's creative fall off, which we can all debate, but evidence of it mounting up. As if you watch both shows, WWE and AEW, the exact same thing happened in 2022, 2023. Bad news, lasts longer, seems worse, gets spoken about loudly as there's in line with a bit of a creative fall off. And then it just feels like the snowball rolls down the hill and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And wrestlers that might feel sad at the loss of their good friend from backstage.
He's not dead.
No, I don't mean lost, but the loss of the crack backstage. And that's what so many of them
it read like he died yesterday.
It did read like, and this is what I'm saying from people that were paying tribute to him that were just fans, or observers, analysts, whatever. It was reading like that, whereas the wrestlers were just mourning the loss of the crack that they would have in work. And I get that more than I get people's emotional response. It might come through. Wrestlers might not have as nice a day at work today. And for years and years and years, probably decades, morale was in the bin, never coming back under Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And then, unsurprisingly, there's an immediate aftermath of him leaving and a bunch of wrestlers feeling like that this is a genuine land of opportunity again. So morale goes through the roof. Everybody starts making more money. Morale stays really, really high.
Not everyone, but
vast majority. And then all the reports come out one way and they come out the other way. And it just... this is yet another thing in the story of one of the big stories of 2025, I think will be our discussion level rather than in terms of metrics that AEW has really sort of seized that momentum and enthusiasm in 2025. And moments like this are checkpoints in that, I would say as well.
With that in mind, do you think WWE acknowledged this whole release? Because I was going to talk about it, as I said, the way to get into it, I was going to talk about the Judgment Day, because obviously technically R-Truth's on SmackDown and JC Mateo stuff we'll mention obviously in the SmackDown review later. But he's got a great deal of history with the Judgment Day. There's a lot of stuff going on with them at the moment with Liv, and we'll talk about a qualifier in a minute, and the arrival of Roxanne Perez and Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we saw Priest and Rhea and what have you tweeting about Truth. And they're seemingly the social media stuff that I saw on Friday, Saturday or whatever was him and Jimmy being Jimmy Uso, we're family. They must have known this was happening. This shouldn't necessarily be a surprise. So maybe it's something do they factor it in, or do they just sort of go, no, we'll just not acknowledge it, and then everyone who's in the bubble knows he's going to lose this in a bad way to Solo's gang or whatever, because this is his last thing before he maybe departs.
So we touched on this on the news.
It might not even work.
Well, there was a couple of examples that this made me think of, and it was like Matt Hardy's 2005 firing that ultimately made the Lita babyface character untenable, and then you have to bring Matt back and all of that. And then in a totally different scenario, Drake Maverick's exit being used as an angle, and then sure enough, he doesn't just win the tournament, he wins his contract, and it's like, this is grim
Some
stuff.
people at the time thought it was uplifting.
Remember
that?
Yeah.
Dark.
Aye. And different cases, but that kind of similar sense of sentiment and groundswell. I don't think there's going to be any kind of protest vote, but if you just use R-Truth as a character, you run a risk of there being such a movement behind him that you have to do a U-turn, which big companies don't like to do. It's like, you lose face, I guess, and then it feels like you're giving a shred of power back to the talent. You can't be doing that. You need to keep the thumbs on the head at all times.
Actually, that was the plan all along, so...
You're going to say this
But there
in
is.
4 weeks' time if it happens,
I
bro.
did say there was a bit of me that thinks that they could do it as a thing of, like, R-Truth keeps showing up to work. Because I saw a picture of someone saying he should show
That might
up.
be the funniest thing he's ever done.
However,
I saw a picture of someone saying he should keep AEW should sign him. Never work. I'd never have him work.
No.
Just have him walk around in the background of a shot of like an interview, looking confused.
Not being funny, I don't know the dude personally, and I don't know what goes on. But if you look who he associates with, and all, he's probably spent the last 6 years downplaying it being big or laughing at it when it fell off. Do you know what I mean? He's like, look who he's buddies with and stuff, you know?
yeah. All right. No, yeah, there's plenty of that. What I was going to say was as well, if you look at the exit of Ricochet and the recent thing on NXT with Tatum Paxley
I was going to say that.
outwardly acknowledging Shotzi and Gigi being released, they're kind of leaning in. Like when people leave, it's like, you know what, we're just going to you're leaving the territory. So Jason Mateo's going to squash you or beat you up, and that's you gone. You're going to, the old-fashioned way, you're going to look at the lights on the way out or whatever. You're going to be used as R-Truth isn't around anymore because a new bloodline chased him off. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I could well see
That's the reason.
Yeah, and they just sort of do it, and I don't really think that works in the post-kayfabe world. I don't think it's working with Tatum Paxley. I didn't.
There's a bit of me that wants him to have the matches because I want the people to be like, oh, I'd like to see R-Truth one more time in a WWE ring, but I understand why he's saying what
That
he's
kind of
saying.
stuff's pretty bleak, isn't it? Like, it's the opposite of the John Cena thing. It's like the release tour. Get your T-shirts now because you're not seeing R-Truth soon. Why is he moving on? No, we've let him go. That's pretty bleak, isn't it? Like it's weird that they fold it in because I think there's never been a time where that's worked less because people just know stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Hamflett makes a very good point about R-Truth now. If there's any kind of protest vote, again, the guy got what chance? Maybe this will like give people perspective of like, you don't know what you got till it's gone. That sort of
people have to
thing.
put the
But
money
it's
where the
wrong.
tweets are. That's the thing as well.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
Don't know what you've got till it's Ron.
You don't know what, let's trivialize it, yeah? You don't know what you got till it's wrong. That was him. It was. Hamflett makes a great point. If he's still on TV and, you know, maybe, I'll put it this way. Do you think Vaquer will come out and cut a big promo tonight? About how this is all his, it's all him, this, isn't it? If anything,
I bloody love Money in the Bank, mate. Can't wait for this weekend.
He's responsible for all this greatness, isn't he? Why don't you come out and soak a pop on Monday Night Raw tonight?
Well, this
live?
wasn't his fault. This is TKO's decision at the end of the day. So, you know, can't really point the finger at the booker.
I think he'll probably do, if anything, a tweet just like saying, hey guys, it's the game Triple H. I know how you're feeling right now.
If I mean, he likes to do it all the time, doesn't he? He likes to do it quite often anyway. Not all the time. That's obviously a gross exaggeration. But more like a lot of the times he comes out like, God, you're welcome. you are welcome for me. I wonder if he'll do that tonight live on Monday Night Raw.
Busy, really busy, big show.
2 matches booked.
Go home.
He's got one of those 50-hour working weeks again. Yep. Of course. So I don't expect him to do that. But maybe, you know, if there's any kind of like, maybe if there's a Netflix comedian, because that got brought into the discourse of like, who am I to laugh at now? These goobers from Netflix who don't even like the business and all the rest of it. Maybe one of them will get booed. Maybe there'll be some kind of protest vote, but Hamflett's right. If they use R-Truth tonight, let like they might get sort of like bullied, if you like, or pressured is the nicer word. I don't like bullied in the wrong context. Pressured into, doing a sort of walking it back. We'll see. But if recent precedent is any indication, they'll do this utterly bizarre thing. Almost as bizarre as the way that I said that. This utterly bizarre thing of talking around it, trying to get the audience to, I don't know, if Dominic Mysterio says something like, good riddance. Yeah. Or if he says something to Roxanne Perez along the lines of, where's my nuggets? Yeah. Where are my nuggets? And so, I forgot them. Because the last person who tried to get into the group didn't end so well for him.
Yeah.
Did it do better? They might do this weird thing where the whole idea is you're meant to think by indirectly referencing our truth. Oh, Dominic Mysterio's a dick. Like, just say it. This weird thing where the wrestlers don't have WhatsApp. The wrestlers live in this bizarre world where they just wake up 8-7 Central, and then sure enough go to bed at 10 or 11, and then they don't do anything else.
Briggs and Inamura.
Yeah.
I just miss him so much.
I'll take him back.
It's been a week and you could video chat.
I'm sure there's lots of restaurants in Florida. In fact, I frequented them when I went on holiday there several decades ago now. So I know there's bars and restaurants in Florida. Trust me. Just meet up for a drink. Or if you don't drink, it's fine. Have a coffee. Maybe have a glass of tap water. I don't know, but you could do that if you wanted. They'll do that weird thing. If anything, they'll do that weird thing.
Doesn't work. I don't like it.
Doesn't work. Don't like it. A lot of people made the same point, so it's not exactly a huge insight for me to say this. Why don't you just really beat him up badly, and then he goes, "It's like, someone's a dickhead for doing that." And that's it. I'm no expert.
Switching gears now,
and that's what they'll do tonight.
Show,
which will get really praised, and all this will be completely gone.
It is the go home show for Money in the Bank this weekend, of course. 4 matches we know on the card. The 2 men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches, the names of which I'll get into in a second. You've got Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. Last chance for Becky, of course, for the women's IC title. And the big John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. But tonight on Raw is all about the final Money in the Bank qualifiers. Where do you want to start with this one? Because both matches are pretty big, to be fair.
Yeah, can't wait for both of these. The women's. I'm kind of more interested, I think.
So, yes, Liv Morgan is back. Obviously, she returned last week, and she's in a qualifier featuring Ivy Nile and the debut of the brilliant Stephanie Vaquer, who just lost the NXT Women's Championship to JC Jane.
I'm really excited for the follow-up of that as well. I can't wait for this. I hope that Stephanie Vaquer wins. Let's just cut to the chase. I said it when she lost on Tuesday. Main roster, Money in the Bank qualifier, give her the briefcase. Absolute rocket strap. NXT run was, clearly going to be a short one from the moment she arrived. Head and shoulders above the rest. Head and shoulders above.
Knees and bloody toes as well.
Julia and Jordan Grace.
I've seen some of these matches.
Who themselves were all positioned on the same level. And she kind of soared above them as well.
Julia might look good if Vaquer hadn't turned up.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. The comparison did not help her.
It's like Tensai and Lesnar in 2012.
Tensai and Lesnar.
They debuted on the same show.
I remember,
What are we doing here?
Oh, no.
Oh, look, it's Albert. A-Train's back.
Good for him. A star's arrived.
Interesting. He's got on his face. What's all that about? Huh? That comes off when you just wipe it off, probably.
Tensai and Sin Cara. Swing and a miss, Paul.
Sin Cara, man.
I don't think Levesque came out on Raw and was like, welcome. Look what I got.
I think when he did come out on Raw, he was like, I'm concussed against Candice.
I think this has affected my decision making.
This match, really looking forward to it. Can't wait to see Stephanie Vaquer and Liv
Who do you think
Morgan.
gets pinned in this match?
I don't know. Well, right, it's Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
But is it? Because
they
could pin Liv Morgan here. I'm gonna say Stephanie Vaquer wins, and I love that. I just like that they're committing to her. They've already given a bit of a soft launch on Raw when she did the 2 shows as the women's champion, so it's not a complete case of fans don't know who she is. I think And she was good in both those matches as well. So they've had an introduction to her, and they can see that she's potentially the real deal. It's not been this like weird laboured thing that we experienced with Roxanne Perez. Just here now. Call this to call up. You don't need to make it official. She wins. She gets in. You could pin Liv Morgan, and that would be helpful for Stephanie Vaquer, because what a scalp that is straight away. Like, I expect the work to be good between two. I never thought we'd see the day that I was fascinated to see these two interact, but like, I really cannot wait to see Stephanie Vaquer. Realistically, probably my two favourite WWE wrestlers of this year coming together straight away. First opportunity to see it. Ivy Nile is there.
Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson.
Very much like that. In my little sports entertainment bubble of things I still enjoy about this company. Yes. Ivy Nile is a pin eater, but Liv Morgan is potentially more interesting.
Yes.
Because obviously they're doing this thing with the dissension within the Judgment Day. It's another little win for Finn Balor if there's to be some sort of like botched interference or whatever. And it's a potential feather in Stephanie Vaquer's cap that she's already got this big win, which they would, and I feel like they would sell it as such as well. So yeah, I'll say they play it a little bit safer and she pins Ivy Nile. But I like medium to high expectations for the quality of this. Really, really looking forward to it.
I tell you what, first of all, proud of you. Your line there, who do I think takes the pin here? Thank you for being facetious about WWE's very predictable, terrible triple threat obsession, in much the same way you would be about, you know, well, let's face it, Hangman Page is probably going to beat Wheeler Yuta in the next 7 weeks. So thank you. Secondly, bit bold, isn't it? Like, there's a little bit of drama. Yes, we know who's going to get pinned, but who does the pinning? Like, Liv Morgan, you probably don't want to take the piss with her star power, but Vaquer, you want to set the tone. I think I'm going to be quite invested in this match in terms of the drama, the outcome, not the result, but how they arrive at it anyway. Vaquer, total revelation. Like, I wasn't really familiar with her work, much like you weren't with AR Fox before he debuted in All
More
Elite
him on
Wrestling.
Collision later.
Yeah, indeed. Ugh. It was good. It was good.
It was Collision. Yeah.
It was good. It was a good Collision. Stick around for the review. But like, since turning up in WWE, she's basically top 3 in that promotion.
Yeah.
Like, at a minimum, she's just enchanted people. And like, it feels like you probably shouldn't take the piss. Maybe don't.
This is a money run on the cards here.
Money run.
Yeah.
Don't take the piss. Maybe don't burn through every single last match. However, like we discussed in the intro, we've been talking about it all. Yeah, the theme of 2025 Fed is, well, we've probably got a button. The theme for WWE's 2025 is...
Oh, the yeah button's a couple down. That's the wrong one.
Yay!
EW.
And that's the... Yeah.
That's good.
Make people believe that this superstar who is class and who's charmed people is a goddamn winner and she is not pissing about.
Even a theme's good. How many
Yeah.
good themes are there at the moment?
Yeah.
And even a theme's good. Like, it just feels like there's one thing that's actually clicking. Like,
How many good themes are there? Cody's and Punks don't count.
no, they do not count. No.
But none of them do because they are, you hear them.
Yeah.
Cody, Punk, Vaquer.
Priest seems to divide people in ways that I don't understand because it's fine, but people
Hum it
really
again.
love or hate it.
Helmet?
I couldn't. It's that Slayer one. But it means nothing to me. But people seem to
people
absolutely
loved it,
love or hate it.
I skip the old entrances more often than not. Maybe I'm not best qualified to do this.
The current worst one is the new
Fraxium.
one. Fraxium, smashing action some. Like that.
They got a theme. Stab at the beginning and then...
Sting.
Yeah, sorry.
When I'm cleaning windows.
Yeah. Oh, well, that just played.
Can you imagine if it was Nerd? Pop! The exciting tag team are here. When I'm... if you see what I can see when I'm cleaning windows.
Be better than what they've currently got.
Honestly, the matches here.
Trick Williams, good theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably less than 5. There's probably less than
Lola
5.
Vice.
Yeah.
Lola Vice
Lola
got
Vice,
banger.
yeah.
I like it.
There's not many. Not many
No.
good themes.
Street Profits just get a new one as well on SmackDown.
Yeah, because they used to have a good one, so they made sure to get rid of that. What's going on?
How
Can we
this?
stop that, please?
How's the Fed hot and considered good? I'll never get it. They are actively making it worse every week.
Sad to see, I agree, but we are where we are. The business runs in cycles.
Can I go first on this Punk match when you talk about it?
Yeah. So just to clarify, we would have in the women's ladder match Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, who qualified on SmackDown. And I think
her promo.
I think Stephanie Vaquer
I
should
love
win.
this field, like way better than the men's one. The women's field's way more. It's like it's interesting. There's like
potential of more than one winner so far, unlike the men's.
Good mix of new people. There's a sense of
Who's winning the men's?
Seth right now, unless the Punker gets in there.
Probably Seth.
it's just a feeling of, and it's the timing is nice because they're going to need something to make Evolution not feel like cynical active counter programming and actually a good show and a celebration or however they want to brand it. There's some ambition in the potential booking of that Money in the Bank match, especially working on the assumption Stephanie Vaquer gets in.
Before we get to this men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I have a question to ask you with regards to Karrion Kross, because I got very excited because I'm excited about, like you say, the dynamics of Liv and, well, arguably Raquel and Roxanne, like whether Liv tonight says, because Roxanne's obviously in the match, but like whether Liv says, Raquel, you kind of screwed up last week. I think I'll have Roxanne out there with me this week.
Yeah.
Finn's just like, brilliant. This is working even better than anticipated, and that doesn't work out, or whatever. Or Roxanne tries to get involved, and again, I was trying to get us both in there, just like Solo with Jacob Fatu on SmackDown.
They've played her quite smart so far, Liv Morgan. Like, if they are trying to get a babyface turn out of this for her and Dom, or at least her as the babyface to contrast to Finn, like, she's gone looking for the match to get a spot. She's not just gone asking for one. Like, she's obviously the babyface as opposed to Finn Balor, who's just causing the bother. Like, the
Great faces.
feels like they're thinking about it.
Yes.
It's making it quite obvious if you watch the tape back, but I will say that about Finn Balor.
They are not watching the tape. I will give you that.
Yeah. What's that got to do with my knob? I mean, what's that got to do with Karrion Kross?
Good stuff.
Well, I was just thinking about this tonight, of the way this could play out tonight is you have CM Punk qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match with Seth Rollins obviously already in there. You have Jey Uso tagging with Cody Rhodes against John Cena and Logan Paul. And then poor Sami Zayn, especially after the main event of last week, is looking at the state of affairs and being like, but I've been doing all this for my mates, and I'm only the only one not getting in this. And Karrion could be like, I did tell you.
And Karrion Kross could say, you don't have any real friends. Another way of which is
he could say that, and then he could say, in fact, I've got a friend of mine here to explain it better for you. And we all know about the relationship, the friendship that has been established between Karrion Kross and Rhea Ripley,
yes,
of course, who's qualified for Money in the Bank.
Indeed, so there is a link.
And she turned around to Sami Zayn. You could say, you got no mates.
I love it. I'll never not pop at that.
Good job there's a link, otherwise that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. It's a good job we don't do bits as well, because that was refreshing.
Yeah.
And by the way, a shout out, I got to send an updated list of bits from Matt today. I mentioned to you email that you said, sorry for the delay. Here's the updated list of bits for like May or whatever.
Oh, thank you.
So on Karrion Kross, on Karrion Kross, I'm bored, brother. I can't be arsed with this. Did you see the tweet from the weekend pertaining to Karrion Kross?
I don't think I did.
In L.
What's happened?
It's a picture of Karrion Kross, presumably from whatever, a WWE TV show, where he's backstage, shrouded in darkness, and there Scarlett's on a ladder, and someone's like, did you see that? Like, oh my God, we haven't seen this level of cryptic storytelling in years. It foreshadows that he's going to be in Money in the Bank. There's a ladder right there. Cryptic. Cryptic!
Imagine you went and started a cryptic crossword and they've already filled in. Oh, great. It's the best cryptic crossword ever. I've done it.
Cryptic. I mean, I despair. I despair. Yeah, I'm bored, brother, of Karrion Kross. I think he showed his ass. I still think that he can pop me when he's on TV. If you're sharing a locker room with him, and I'm not speaking on behalf of any of these people, so I'm going to rephrase that, okay? I'm going to say, if I was sharing a locker room with Karrion Kross, and he's on Helwani, was he done Van Vliet recently or not?
I believe so, yeah.
I've seen him doing like chats relentless media blitz, as he should, trying to get himself over. I'm not saying if any WWE wrestlers, I'm saying if I am sharing a locker room with Karrion Kross, I'm like, give over, mate. Like, it's so transparent that he's trying to, and I'm thinking, should he be doing this?
It's a well-trodden path now, isn't it? This is how a lot of them do it. You know, there's a media
potential
blitz,
haunts me, that sort of deal. It's like, if I'm like, oh, come on, man. Very transparently.
Virality. Like, we know firsthand about,
I get what he's trying to do,
but
at this point, it's like, well, what else you got?
Yeah.
What else you got? Like, I know I'm speaking to the wrong crowd here, so I implore the viewers and listeners, at some point in the wrestling business, stay with me here, and please don't, be yourself. The bell must ring.
Sidge, little known show called In Your House 2020, a mere 5 years ago against Tommaso Ciampa.
What
ever heard of it?
I know what you're doing here. At that time, Natalia had that match. Was it on Raw? Like remember that show?
Yes.
Natalia did something good for once in 9 years. But the Miz did the talk and smack. What is it with the cult of WWE? Where like you can cut one promo on talk and smack, and he can just do the most poorly, shoddily, piss weak work every time in the ring. But then, the Miz did that in 2016. So, what is it with this company? And you doing one good thing for 9 years, and then that gets remembered. You know what I mean? Like Karrion Kross is.
Is there one since? Like, is there a match that sticks out beyond that?
No. Yeah, I was going to say the Ciampa one's the only one
The Ciampa was the only one that was worth a damn, realistically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he's in the wrong body, Karrion Kross. He could be quite a cool manager type if he was like not built like a brick house. Sorry, I've sworn a lot, so I won't do too much of it. I'm bored, brother. Like, I think Karrion Kross has done well to get over. He's reached the lowest ceiling imaginable of what you can do very quickly. Decent promo, funny bloke. You can see why people see something in him, which I never did 5 years ago, realistically. But now he's shown a bit of the personality. That's why people have, hired him to wrestle.
Yeah.
And then it's just, if I'm working alongside Karrion Kross, I'm starting to get a bit annoyed. It's like, well, come on, you can't keep saying, my potential haunts me. Does it? You've got to wrestle.
I can't work it out. I feel, because there's been so many comparisons, so many cases, should I say, over the years now of people just clicking somehow. I've
seen this dude work at trios with Plunder at WrestleMania. Like I reckon I could be the sixth man in a good Plunder match with enough training.
But
he wasn't.
No, but I would say I'm not seeing this laundry list of amazing Joe Hendry matches, but so much has clicked that it's been worth going with him. And I remember feeling this way about I don't want to be harsh on him because I actually like quite a bit of his work in hindsight, but I remember feeling exactly this way about Zack Ryder. The last thing I wanted to do then of all times was be like, no, WB is right to pedigree him in the ad break every week. But that's what they were doing.
It was pretty funny.
It was pretty, you gotta laugh. He's really getting over. Well, I'm Triple H the game.
It's one of the
I remember
funniest, come to me after. I don't want to step on your dick.
I like Zack Ryder enough, and I was certainly into the idea of somebody doing exactly what they were told to get over and actually getting over. And then he wins the US title off Dolph, and you're thinking, you know what, that's an overachievement from what I would have personally expected.
Yeah.
Good for him as well. And then Kane in the chair, and it's really funny, but it's not on. It's not institutional bullying almost, that D push.
Yeah, it is.
I remember thinking but what is the ceiling? What happened beforehand, other than his incredible enthusiasm and his will to be great and his genuine love of it, and that I could relate to. He absolutely loved WWE with his bones, and I got that. But Punk dropped the pipe bomb. And I was just and John Cena was his mate, and could steal gear as much as that doesn't seem possible now. And I remember even at the time thinking this is really nice. But
it was the principle of it.
Yeah, the principle of it more than what otherwise are we doing here?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I know.
But it was such an awkward thing to have at the time, and I sort of feel that with Karrion Kross a bit now.
Here's the thing. I've seen Cardona maintain an audience reaction throughout a thoroughly
I get it way more
forgettable
now.
match.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's improved, to be fair. Like, I mean, I'm never going to put this dude over unless I mean it. The court match on Collision was something. Matt Cardona and Joe Hendry can move. They are generic. They don't have that explosive athleticism. They don't have that unbelievable sense of pacing and structure, but they can move and they can, more often than not, maintain that crowd reaction throughout. Karrion Kross might be the least dynamic wrestler I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's probably worse examples. In terms of reputation to actual output, like Karrion Kross is so stiff out there. For the size he is, like we called him DJ Karrion, but we didn't. But Waka Waka Rock.
Cross jacket.
Yeah. He can't cinch in submission moves. Like when he was doing his sort of Osprey hidden blade deal.
Ooh.
When he was
I'd forgotten about
when
that.
he was trying to land forearms, like he can't even do basics that look like really primitive yet believable offense where you think someone's in trouble, bowling so ugly, but you know, he can't even do that. Like I really don't think it's several levels below subpar Karrion Kross. I understand why there would be a viable clamour for someone like Karrion Kross to get pushed when, of all people, Jey Uso, at time of recording, is your world heavyweight champion. And, you know, it's less of an emphasis than ever in-ring work. There's a flaw. It doesn't even meet the flaw. It doesn't.
Well, let's talk about the final Money in the Bank qualifier tonight. So joining Solo Sikoa, LA Knight.
Yeah.
Penta, Seth Rollins, and Andrade is one of CM Punk, who could qualify for the Money in the Bank for the first time in 12 years, AJ Styles, and El Grande Americano. Sid, do you want to go first on this?
I did, because I've got something nice to say, and I thought I would like to do that. One more thing on, like, is it the ultimate ironic FU to, like, we don't want him to get over. Stop cheering for him. Oh, you want him to get a push, do you? You want Zack Ryder to get a nice old push? Like a push? Sorry, just to make sure, a push. I want to push him off the stage when he's in a wheelchair by Kane.
They're just thinking push.
That's a push, isn't it? I gave you what you wanted. Yeah. putting smile on, but it's like you did. Like putting smiles on people's faces. I couldn't believe they still had that level of comedy in them. It was horrible. It was horrible.
This guy's big WrestleMania match. Okay,
like the principle of it was horrible. That sort of thing underscored the mentality that genuinely created the market conditions for an AEW.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Give up.
Give up,
little guy. Don't try. Because
it's a sight gag and the irony as a punchline. I mean, that's top tier. I'm sorry.
Cena tells everybody he's his mate. So might have one supporter in the locker room who's like got stroke. Yeah. And look what happened to him. Don't try. Stop trying.
Stop trying. This AJ Styles versus CM Punk versus El Grande Americano, right? I'm not joking. And, you know, I understand that tribalism is rife. It was certainly rife before Sunday. I've got one more little rant geared up about that, but 1 second. Let's get the praise and then rant. But we're gonna have to. We don't do many bits, but this is a little bit that I came up with the other week of like.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I forgot about it.
Don't hurt me. Sacrilege corner.
Because there's a little guy in there.
Yeah.
Is this the most Tony Khan actually cool thumbnail Paul Levesque has ever dropped in his boring life?
We are so f***ing, pal, because that's exactly what I thought. This was like that. This is like a dynamite graphic drop.
Yeah.
On a SmackDown. Yeah.
I saw that.
Totally agree.
I can scarcely believe the dude has done something so interesting.
Yeah.
I genuinely, this match, I saw written like. I can't believe he's done it. It's so interesting. It's so like fun.
Yeah.
There are so many possibilities. There's at least 2 winners.
Yeah.
Like
I think this
wrestler.
Yes. There's 3 winners here, isn't there? Like
it's like one of those like this wrestler can interact with this wrestler.
Yeah.
This like your dreams are possible. This is going to be so much fun. I'm actually incredibly hyped for this match.
The Punk AJ thing is fascinating, isn't it? Like, immediately the clips get shared of like 2004 when they last worked together, and you know of, I mean, it's Punk beef, but like there's, you know, like relatively low level beef. They're obviously going to be able to work together, but nonetheless, you kind of know there's been.
Didn't it resurface in 2020?
Yeah, there's been like odd things.
It's AJ. What did you expect?
Different people,
Yeah.
different needs, but lots of like shared history with other people and stuff. But fascinating to see them work together, as it still is. I still think Punk, with lots of names that they've been very patient, diligent with. If you want to deep dive on that, you can see me and Sid discuss this in a long form podcast, AEW versus WWE. But I think Punk might not win. I don't think he loses,
I think he does win.
but I'm not sure on this one. Like, there's Seth Rollins wanting to protect and preserve his chances of winning at Money in the Bank, and thus sending the stable out to do everything in their power to stop Punk getting in, and thus giving Punk that transition into Bron Breakker or into Bronson Reed away from Seth Rollins.
See, I think that happens at Money in the Bank rather than...
Possibly, yeah.
I think he'll interfere tonight as well, and Sammy will try and help him.
And it means Punk's on the pay-per-view, and I'm pretty sure he was on the poster, and if he's not in the match, then he's got to feature somewhere. But then there's always that one space left on the card, so you could, if they were going to say, right, as a result of the interference tonight, it's going to be CM Punk versus Bron Breakker at Money in the Bank, well, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good, like, PLE match.
That's so
for
cool
example.
that I almost don't want it to happen yet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you want to hold off on that one. I've just got a feeling about El Grande Americano. Like, I've got a feeling that he goes in because Chad Gable couldn't. And they love the bit. And I get it. The bit is getting over. It's got obvious crossover with AAA, which they want. There's going to be...
Chad Gable's working that show, isn't he?
Right, so there's like him losing at Worlds Collide. And bloody hell, El Grande Americano, he looks tired. He must have been like working out really hard in his pre-match exercise. And I like some of it, but like they love it. They wouldn't have gone as hard as they have done so far. They have leaned in when there's been questionable elements to this character that people have gone, oh, maybe pull back there. And they're going, no, backing down. We're doubling down.
Double down.
Beat friggin'
Double down.
I mean, he's been beaten like a drum ever since. He is useless. But they beat Rey Fenix at WrestleMania when there was still some value there before that got flushed away. So it's...
I think you'll find he's challenging for a title, but okay.
okay, yeah.
Not be that bad, clearly. I mean, they lost the tag match on SmackDown.
It's SmackDown, mate. It's not looking good. I just think they've, for better and worse, this is the point, right? Even when companies are good, you notice it less. When companies are bad and WWE's getting worse, it's like, well, they're investing. They are doing fundamentally what we ask of the company to do, even if it's sometimes in a character or a story that you may be less invested in. Invested. El Grande Americano pinning AJ Styles while Punk has been taken out of the action in a very similar way to what happened to Jake.
Nice revenge for his friend because he got Chad Gable got chinned by AJ last week, didn't he?
You see? Jacob Fatu was taken out of a situation in order for someone unlikely to win on SmackDown. They could run that back with... Punk's in that spot, isn't he? The biggest star, the one he should win, and then doesn't.
So is Chad Gable in the Money in the Bank ladder match?
No, he had a qualifier, but he had
Penta won it. Yeah.
Kingo got involved.
Yeah, so he's got Chad Gable's got the big title. He's busy, Sidge.
Oh, okay.
Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
But that's happening in the daytime.
I simply cannot foresee CM Punk putting himself in a ladder match. Not that it's up to him.
Yeah.
If it was asked, he would go, well, does that make the most sense? And I mean, like, put it this way. Ladder matches are, in fact, so dangerous and so painful that as a wrestler who just never wants to do them, outright hates them, this wrestler will work Texas death matches, will bleed as long as he wants all the time, will take explosions to the dome, will take skewers to the dome. Like, John Moxley hates ladder matches. Like, in the age that CM Punk's at, you know, old, I don't know.
It's the old man dance.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Everyone does that.
Yeah.
Does not need to be doing them.
It's hobbling time.
Good.
They could have...
I mean, fair, actually.
Seth takes out Punk tonight. Punk returns the favor. They're copying the homework from the Drew McIntyre program, but at least that way they'd have a plot point, some incident. and then they can finally do Punk Rollins one-on-one, and then it ends. It's going to end. I mean, I just think it's going to end, isn't it, Hamflett?
I sure hope so. I don't mind.
You need Punk.
I still think there's one more match in it, and I not because I particularly want the feud to carry on, but I do think there is one more straight up babyface, straight up heel, wrap it up thing. I'm not against that fundamentally. Yeah. I wouldn't say it necessarily carries a PLE or anything, but I think there's one more big.
If you look at the top line of Raw, they think it's going to.
Yeah,
but I think that's how they arrive at it.
So who are you going for?
AJ. I think.
Oh, so we got one each.
Oh, nice.
I think AJ just is there for the good wrestler quota in a match like that. And I'm being facetious. I still maintain to this day, WWE somehow considering the roster on the other side and, you know, the extent to which AEW wrestlers are allowed to go, WWE still does multi-man ladder matches way better than the dub.
Yeah.
I don't like that lineup very much.
Who's in it again? So we've got Penta. Well, Destroyer off the ladder. That's good.
Seth.
Yeah, I'm with
Penta's the good one.
Andrade, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa.
Maybe the Fed is finished. If they can't do a Money in the Bank ladder match, they are finished.
They've got a good story with LA Knight.
Make it official.
It's sort of become LA Knight's match in the same way that it used to be Shelton Benjamin's. He never wins, but you're glad he's there. Like, that's the sort of LA Knight story at the moment.
But Solo Sikoa stinks.
He sure does. He's funny.
He is funny.
You can't make people laugh.
You can take
in
a little slapstick there.
Yeah.
From the old ladder ski, Jones City.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with CM Punk, so I like the fact that we've got one each here. Nicholas, who have you got, by the way, just to break the tie?
I don't want to break the tie. I would want to keep the mystery for the viewers, right?
You write it down. We'll reveal it tomorrow on the podcast.
Make them wait. See, there's retention. Now you're using your brain. Come on.
I do like the idea, though.
I would have said it's to Debbie Deeks, but guys, you can't have a disqualification in a triple threat.
Perfectly legal, Cole.
I do like the idea, though, of if your choice comes right, you have AJ Styles. I'm going up there. I'm going to get the briefcase. And then, like, Chad Gable comes out and gets involved because of their history and gets taken out. And then a few minutes later, El Grande Americano appears also to try and remove him from the match. What a coincidence.
What are you doing here? AJ Styles, of course, famously almost won the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Had it in his hand.
He had it in his hand, ergo the winner. And dropped it, didn't he? And this one. Well,
I can't remember that.
2020.
I might have to rewatch that Money in the Bank match before.
Are you saying, Sidge, that you don't recall the attempted murder of two wrestlers? It was one of the worst matches of all time.
All I remember is Doink. Yeah. It's like, you know how I've got one more rant coming up actually after this point. Because I did promise the guys a rant. Rant. You know how South Park just completely annihilated Family Guy?
Yes.
For doing, you think that's bad? Remember the time that...
Manatees, wasn't it? Or something?
The manatees with the idea balls. You think that's bad? Remember the time that, I don't know, Gary Coleman...
Yeah.
You know.
Did it. Family Guy's still around, it's still fine, but there was no way back from it.
No.
Yeah.
That was a definite turning point of like,
oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, WWE's version of that was, remember Doink? It's just like there's no gag. It's just Doink's there. Doink's there.
It wasn't. It was just a bloke in his work shirt with the face barely finished paint. His brother loving his famous tan. What?
What's the joke?
Remember? Did you not think he was going to be there? Because I've got some news for you, by the way.
The only joke, if you can call it, it's fun to reminisce on this. We're out of that time, thank God. Like I remember you pointed out, like they just had Dana Brooke take the hardest bump of her career because she had to slip on a
dramatic music. And
the stepping man being like, "You stupid, that's a toy. That's not the real briefcase."
They couldn't even. You went one. They couldn't even do
that. Wasn't
they didn't even do the to make that gag a little bit better, right? So they're all running around, trying to climb the corporate ladder. Like, they're all fighting. Like, make it look really intense, this one bit, just for the purposes of the punchline. Because it's meant to be a comedy match and all the rest of it. Like, they're spraying each other. They're wailing on each other. Boom, boom. And Dana Brooke just falls on her arse. And they all just stop fighting and go, hey! That might have been a gag.
Yeah.
Hopeless, absolutely hopeless. And I was going to get my rant very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I needed to say the only constructed joke of the entire thing was Paul Heyman's got all his food to himself. He's like, like he's really excited. He's been like planning it all day. Like he's ordered a feast. It's the pandemic. Like the ding. Oh, it's the Florida Feast shop. We're gonna have to shut. Paul Heyman's put an order and send it to Titan Tower.
So fast, sir.
This is the snack. So he's like sitting down with his knife. I can't bloody wait to get into this.
I love that guy because if that's the snack, what's the meal?
The fight bursts in. I'm bloody hell. My food's everywhere. That's the only gag. Paul Heyman, old wobbly walrus himself.
Monday Night Rant.
Monday Night Rant.
Good.
Right. I'm sick of this, bro. My least favorite genre of post ever
Oh, I think I saw this.
is... So someone tweeted a GIF or a picture of circa 2005 Christian throwing a tantrum on Raw. Captioned, the IWC, when you say you prefer Randy Orton to some Japanese wrestler from the 80s working in front of 20 people in a parking lot, right? And the amount of people I saw earnestly like tweet like, God, have you ever heard of Antonio Inoki? Do not know how hot the Japanese scene was in the 80s and 90s, and if anything, it might have been bigger than WWE in attendance. It's like, shut up. If you're like, stop trying to oppress upon people who don't care. Your knowledge of one of the most famous men to have ever lived, Antonio Inoki. He's one of the most famous men to have ever lived. Now, understand if you're, you know, let's say in the UK or the US, you don't get the magnitude of Inoki, right? He is one of the most famous human beings who has ever lived. Do you think that don't impress me much? Like, why do people... What is the outcome here? Is the outcome...
That Twitter account's going to do what we do and put their hands up and say, you know
No, you're right.
Yeah, that outcome is, all right, I'm going to change my ways. Okay. I don't know, I'm 17. I just like WWE. Not particularly fulfilled in my life, hence why I'm doing this bullshit on the internet. What I'm going to do to enrich my life is, oh my God, you know, so many of the moves now, I've just been catching this Jushin Liger fella. What an innovator, what a trailblazer. Right, okay, well, I'm going to go on to All Japan Women's next. Yeah, and then I might do the UWFI.
A thread label.
See
My apology.
That Vader Takada match that people... Why do you feel the need to, like, interact with these people for one? They're not listening. And I don't care that you know who Inoki is. He's one of the most famous men who's ever lived. It's a prize. What do you think you're going to get? Do you think you're going to solve tribalism by doing this? Like, what are we doing here? It just drives us absolutely mental.
You got to give credit to this engagement bait guy, because that sort of stuff doesn't hit like it used to. It's not new anymore, is it? Like a bit of rage bait, because we even know terms like rage bait. It means like the kayfabe's been broken. We're onto it. So the idea is you ignore and you move on or whatever. Like,
Inoki sold out the Tokyo Dome.
Like, fair play to them for still finding a way to catch.
Yeah, still getting a little
Yeah,
nibble.
like you just think all those like old baits are dead. It's like, we're going to need some new bait. Not yet, you're not. Yeah. Like, because if you play to somebody's...
the old worm yet.
Yeah, if you play to somebody's like... What are we talking here? Like, is this like a dangerous combination of smugness and knowledge? And if you play to those just right, it's like, they're the last people I can still get.
Yeah, it's
everybody else is wise to it, but not they. They're going to need...
I find it so undignified.
They're going to need to project their knowledge.
I find it so undignified. People need to start treating Twitter, the very, like, model of it is totally flawed, hence why you get these, like, don't interact with these. That's how, pretend you're in your own message board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this person's on a different message board. Like, I'm not going to have a meaningful interaction with them ever. And the people on my existing message board, which I should be pretending I'm on, they know who Inoki is, and I'm just going to feel like it's when people go, oh, actually, like the quote tweet dunk, like, get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. Pretend you're on the message board that you know you belong on, right? The people who are already on this message board, they know who Inoki is. I hate this so much. What a pathetic existence. Imagine going up to going into like a elementary school. It's literally a Friends gag joke, like, crafted around this, where Monica somehow finds a way into like a cooking class.
She goes in with Joey.
She goes in with Joey. She finds herself in a cooking class, and sitcoms have taken the piss out of this childish behavior for like decades now. Just what do you get out of it?
I saw a good tweet about that. You know, when there's always like somebody went viral for, was it like one of Jimi Hendrix's old colleagues had passed away maybe a couple of years back, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, I saw somebody wearing a Hendrix t-shirt, and I passed on my condolences." And the woman didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I was like, "Yeah, you're the there, mate.
Yeah,
like not her for having a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt."
Yeah, she just thinks it looks nice.
Yeah, somebody's taking that like you can buy a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt in the kids section of it, like Asda George, and it's like, if I see an 8-year-old and he doesn't know so and so and so it is, there's going to be bloody hell on.
You've seen Woodstock, have you? Did you go? What? Anyway, let us know if you know old Tony Inoki in the comment section below, and your thoughts ahead of Monday Night Raw tonight. As well as on X, at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow all 4 of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett. That's good stuff, mate.
It's all good stuff.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
Follow our producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow to review Raw, and you've got Collision and SmackDown reviews coming your way later on today. But for now, this has been the Raw preview. My thanks to Hamflett Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.